Okay, this is part, what is it, 8 now? I think part 8. So I just done previous video, I tested the throttle body, it works, everything's fine. I didn't run the motor for too long, so I want to tighten these hoses before I proceed. The brake booster is very important, obviously. These are your brakes, so I want to make sure they're nice and tight. Okay, good. Tighten up this one. Obviously don't break anything. Oops. Slipped. What I want to do is I want to put it this way. Actually this way. Because when it tightens, it's going to twist a little bit. As you can see, it's twisting. So there, it's pretty nice and tight. Very good. Now, the next step is the mass airflow sensor boot. What we have here is the original boot that torn off. So we want to transfer, obviously, these clamps onto the new boot. Note the orientation. The orientation goes like this. It's two little tabs. They go down this way. Okay. This tab faces passenger side at slight angle toward the front. Okay, so this is our new boot. Open this up. You can see, nice and soft. Very nice. Pliable, so it's gonna go on nice and easy. The retainers I can reuse. So for that, I'm gonna use a 7mm. Just makes life a little easier. Basically, just take it off, loosen it up, so you can take it off the original one. Should be enough. Okay, now note the orientation also. These screws have to face driver's side, so you can tighten it up. Okay, so usually keep two together. But this goes in here like this. So I'm gonna put this unit on and feed it into these little openings here. Tighten it up a little bit. This is self-explanatory, really. It's not difficult at all. Tighten it up a little bit, make sure it fits into these little notches. There are like little notches here made for it. You can see right here. So it fits in. This one is good. There's a small indentation right here, so this is where the actual retainer should sit. So you can remove it and install it again. We have one replaced. Let's do the other one. This one is pretty loose. Let's see if I can take it out as is. Yeah, I think I can do that. Okay. Both of the screws, I mean the bolts, they face passenger side. So gotta make sure that you do that. Okay, now these both units are in position. I'm gonna tighten the top one up a little bit. Should have used a screwdriver, I guess. Okay. All right. So as you can see, there are two notches here. That's where these things sit. So I'm going to push this on first. Just let it sit there. Tighten up the bottom bolt. Again, notches face driver's side. The square ones. Okay, looks good to me. So you want to tighten the bottom one first. I'm going back to the same challenge that we went through, loosening these things. Hopefully now that will be a little bit easier because I can pretty much position it slightly to my advantage. And not really. Okay, plan B, long screwdriver. Actually, 2 long screwdrivers. One to hold the unit from the back, the other one to actually tighten the actual bolt. Now this is not really that amusing to see, so I'm going to pause it right now. I'm going to tighten it up. Okay, the bottom is complete. The bottom ring is tight. So I'm going to put mass airflow sensor in now. Mass airflow sensor has also a little notch here, as you can see. This notch engages into the little notch on the actual rubber boot. So I'm gonna fit this thing in there, just like that. Make sure it's centered with that notch. Now, it would have been a good idea at this point to actually feed electrical connection to the mass airflow that previously I had zip tied, because actually no, we do have new space. We have space. Leave it alone. When the boot is very brittle, it doesn't allow you to move mass airflow, not even slightly. So wires don't fit. You have to kind of squash them in there. Not a good thing. So once we have this situated, I already set my top bolt in a position, so hopefully I will tighten it easy. Nothing is easy, but I hope. So same thing, 7mm, all these flexible joints. Hopefully I'll get it in, tighten it up, call it a day for the mass airflow sensor. Let's do that. I have to feed my socket on it. I like to use 7mm sockets because they make them tight. Alright, well anyway, let's do it this way. I'm gonna pause it again. I'm gonna tighten that socket. Anyone can do that. Okay, the mass airflow sensor is tight, and now we're going to feed the electrical connector to it. I already connected the vacuum hose that was disconnected, so nice and tight in there also. It's right here, and it's I don't know who fed it like that. It should be on the other side, but it is what it is. So I just leave it alone down there. It's good. Now we have the ground to go here. This is the ground for mass airflow sensor. This is important, of course. It's a small little Allen bolt that holds the ground here. I'm gonna tighten that up. Just use that again. Okay. Now, this seems to be fine. One more last step that you want to do with this whole situation here is to lubricate your linkage. Okay? Because now it's a good time and it's a good preventive maintenance, so the linkage moves nice and free. This is great. old boot, packaging from the new one. Okay, so I got some penetrating oil over here. I'm gonna just lubricate everything I could. This is safe for rubber parts. That's why I use it. All these little moving parts, hinges, everything you want to lubricate. So it's all nice and free. It's very important for linkage to be free, not to bind. Because if it does, well, it's already much nicer. Later on, once it soaks in, I'm thinking of putting some of the lithium grease, white lithium grease in the can spray. I just don't have it with me right now. I'm gonna let it soak, and later on I'm gonna spray lithium grease all over it. Because I don't think this is gonna work for long. Lithium grease is at least will remain. It's gonna stick to the metal and will remain on the metal. That's the better lubrication. So, because I'm gonna have this car for a little bit, I'm gonna take it to a shop right now to work on transmission linkage. Perfect. See, now the linkage is nice and free, and basically that would be all in terms of installing throttle body and mass airflow sensor. If you want to go all the way, then let's see. What we have here to do is we need to put a cover for this connector here. It's rather simple. Okay, just something. Somebody already was here messing with these things. You can tell the wires are in wrong locations. Okay, so the cover goes pretty much here. Okay, like that. And this is simple stuff. Work it through. There's two snappers. Snaps them down here and here, and one plastic retainer that goes here, 10mm to tighten it. Let's see if I have 10. Well, I'll just use the hand one real quick. It's almost all the way. That's good. Now, you want to run a couple of zip ties so the wire is not all over the place. So let's see, now this is good. Let's see if we're gonna do this one toward this pipe right here. Seems to be, what is that? Okay, I think it's a squirt or whatnot. This goes around, this goes around. Okay, I have a point over here that I'm gonna zip tie to. Okay. So two wires at the same time. I'm going to zip tie. It's good to have because all of these things are brittle, so they will break when you move them around. All of the retainers, original ones. Okay, nice metal point. Zip tie to go. Like that. Two wires sit snug. This one. Okay. Then another zip tie I want to run somewhere. Let's see. This is the brake line. So this is cold. So I'm gonna connect it to this brake line, and it has holds pretty well here. Here. I don't have to go too much. That's good enough because wires are never gonna melt. These are Teflon cables that I use in there. Very heavy duty. Now this I'm gonna keep open because I'm going to clear all the codes. This little piece was lost. I found it inside the motor. This piece holds your air cleaner in place. found it deep inside, laying down there. I'm going to attach it now. Alright, so it sits here, and we can start the car again now with mass airflow in place. See what we get, and then I'm going to do the cleanup in terms of coats, clear all the coats and stuff like that. The keys are not here, so let's go get the keys. Keys are right here. Okay, let's start the car. Okay, go. Started very nice, runs very smooth. So I'm gonna take care of check engine light, RPM, acceleration. Very nice and responsive. Very steady idle. You can compare videos. The very first part 1 video, you can see how RPMs don't hold. Now I can just give gas. There's no problems here in terms of acceleration. Perfect. So that was our throttle body repair, replacement, rebuild, installation, and testing. So no more fuel safety cut off or anything like that. And we're good to go. And of course I'm going to put ABS ASR lights back in there so customer knows if there's any issues with the car in those systems. Somebody took them out. I guess they didn't want to fix it, or they didn't know how to fix it, so that's what they did. Pull the cluster, take the bulbs out, and there you go. So for more information you can find me at restoreyourmercedes.com or on my YouTube channel, VS and VS. Thanks for watching.